Hey, good morning. I'm Sean Harden. I'm with Texas Open Door Realty right here in downtown Round Rock, and I've got the privilege of having one of Round Rock's native sons, Matt Teifke. Not born here, but been here all his life here in Round Rock, and Matt's with has his own company, TRE Homes, and really, man, you've dabbled in a little bit of everything, Matt, in terms of certainly property management. I know we've done a deal together, and with one of your guys buying one of the houses I was selling.
Right.
And this is obviously a very hot market and a vibrant market.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so many companies moving here, and there's so much opportunity. But really, we just wanted to talk about this morning. Just I guess I know you're passionate about what you do, and you're driving a ton on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Just give you a chance to just talk about what you're doing and how you're impacting the market. And then, we mentioned you being a brand new dad and all that goes on there with you and your wife. And so we'll dive into a little bit of that.
Cool.
So good.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Well, Matt, I'll just turn it over and just say, I know you were born here, your parents moved here, you went to high school here. What's kept you here? What do you love about Round Rock and Central Texas?
Quick correction, I was born in Cleveland.
Okay.
Moved here when I was three years
right.
old. I think, so I've lived in Corpus for school, College Station, and then I moved back here. And within Austin, I've kind of lived in probably all the surrounding cities.
Okay.
Lived in Spicewood, Lakeway, South Austin, Round Rock.
Yeah.
We're moving back to Round Rock, and part of that is our real estate strategy, which I'd love to get into if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll dive into that. But that just made me realize, man, you living in all these different areas here in the greater Austin area, man, what a benefit to your clients just to talk about, hey, I live there, or I know that area intimately.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to say, is that I feel very blessed and fortunate to live in Austin, and I feel like there's all these surrounding cities that all have their own different cultures and their different environments, but I still look at it as Austin.
Yeah.
But you can go to Georgetown, Round Rock, to Hutto, to Spicewood, and get a totally different experience. But what I see is that people that live here, they don't mind going back between all the cities. You might go to Georgetown to go to dinner or to go to a brewery. And so that's part of what I love about it, is that there's a lot of different things, different areas. Each city has kind of a different mentality as far as the people, but then it all kind of ties back into Austin.
Sure. And I know you and I talked a little bit about, that property management is kind of really your forte, or maybe how you got into this, right? Tell us a little bit about that, what all you're doing, in terms of number of properties you may have, so on and so forth.
So I kind of started it. People say that property managers get into it not by choice.
Okay.
And I kind of believe that. And so my mom had a couple rental properties.
I see.
It's what got me interested in the first place.
Gotcha.
But I saw through companies that I worked with and just thinking through it, the value of management. And the idea is that it's one of the most important parts. It's managing your asset, which is most people's biggest investment.
Sure.
And so I felt like there were a lot of companies that may just kind of do it on the side. They're brokerage first.
Right.
Or they're just not doing it 100%. They're doing a lot of other things. So we saw this opportunity to 100% commit to property management.
Absolutely.
And that's how it started. And we have a little different approach with how we do things.
Okay.
Very big on the marketing. We have a good team in place.
Nice.
But what we believe is that you treat tenants right, and you go above and beyond as an owner. And let's say, half the time there's an expense that is a tenant's related expense, and the owner might pick that up to keep the tenant happy, and in turn you keep the tenant in your property, and by doing so you save on leasing costs and make ready. And if you can avoid getting somebody out every year, you're going to make a lot more money.
Right.
So,
You're absolutely
so we try to manage like that, and we try to get our owners on the same board, like, hey, let's take care of this property and this tenant, and not just
make it long term.
Make it long term, and not just look at the numbers.
Right. And you hit on a couple of things there that, man, are just huge in this business, and things that I try to employ on my side of it is that, number one, real estate is probably the biggest investment that people will make in their lives. So it's not a decision to take lightly. And so, the more knowledge I have as an agent and that I can, bestow upon my clients and help them with that decision making process, similar to you, is only going to benefit them in the long run. And then the second thing of this is, I knew coming into this business, I had a sales background, but my goal was really to do this to build long-term relationships. I'm not in it just as a one and done and a transactional guy. I would much rather have the quality relationships and the quality transactions as opposed to quantity. And that's kind of been my philosophy doing that. And I think for both of us, that will pay off in the long run.
I agree. At the end of the day, I believe that it's a long-term, big picture mindset.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the key, and not everyone has that. I've learned that, and simple things like I meet with people, and they say they're going to do something, and then they don't.
Sure.
And it's like, if you just kind of do things the right way and do what you say you're going to do, it can go a long way.
Absolutely. And I know, I'm always amazed in this business that there's so many agents and companies that we deal with collectively that may not ever call you back, or send you the documents that you need for a house that they're selling or a property that they're selling. And I'm just like, wait, you do realize that your loyalty is to your client and you're trying to sell their property, right? So I would think that you would want to do everything you can in the benefit of your clients. So anyway, it's kind of interesting to see, but I think that's great to hear because it really is what separates TRE Homes and then SeanHardenRealtor as well.
Cool, absolutely.
Man, that's awesome. Well, you hit on a lot there. And so, he's kind of like, hey, we need to step back and really kind of digest that a minute. But you mentioned some things that really make you different in TRE Homes. If you could pick out one or two things that make you guys different as a property manager or anything that you're going after, maybe social media, or, hit on that.
Yeah, no, I love the question, and I get it a lot. And so we're actually thinking about coming up with this video, like a really hardcore video that explains it all. But what I tell people is, one, it's our team, the team that we have in place. So we have a full-time maintenance guy. He was my baseball coach here when I was 12 years old. My marketing guy, we went to second grade together. Our accounting is my brother's wife. We got my wife, myself, a property manager. She lives down the street from my mom. And so what I believe is we have this family of people that really differentiates ourselves. That's most important. And so we have different systems in place. So all maintenance calls go to Robert. And then it's not one property manager handling everything. It's systematized. So Robert is getting calls on the weekend, but that's fine because that's all he has is call screens. Second thing is, I believe the way that we treat our tenants. What I kind of touched on. I'm really proud of this. If you go online and look at our reviews, we have one negative review. It's a house that I own, which that sucks. It was about the deposit. That's what it is. But having almost no bad reviews as a property management company, that's a tough thing to do. Because right now we've got about 300 doors. So we've got 150 property owners. Probably 600 tenants. And that's a lot of people that can be writing reviews about us. And you always hear these horror stories, but our tenants love us.
And Matt, again, you're just hitting on all kinds of things here, points that just are resonating with me, and I've been going to this training, and part of it's talking about that, for every client that you impact, or that you have, they know two people, and then they know two people.
That's unreal.
And they know two people, and it's kind of like the whole principle of your money compounding. It's like your friends and your references and referrals compounding. And you're exactly right. I mean, you want to obviously take care of your people so that they're telling the right message for you.
Right.
And you mentioned you know kind of the recommendations or reviews, and you know, like I think on Facebook, for example, I had one guy did not rate me all 5s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so my total rating is now like 4.9.
Right.
And I'm like, oh
yeah.
Wait a minute, I had a 5. You know, I had 5 perfect scores, you know, and I take that personally.
Yeah.
You know, just because
Absolutely.
I'm like, okay, you know, I want to make sure that if I did make a mistake, that I don't ever do it again.
Right. Yeah, and I love what you say about how it can multiply, because that comes down to the big picture, right? Yeah. And so we've managed for owners, and the tenants were not really our client, the owner is, but we end up getting referrals from the tenants, and a lot of people, you know, may treat them just like they're a tenant, you know, and you just never know. Like, first of all, it's good to do the right thing, but if you're smart, business-minded, long-term, I mean, this tenant's, you know, uncle could own half of Austin. Right. You know, you just never know. And those referrals, by just doing things the right way, that's one of the things I love about real estate is like you said, the compound, a little bit of the unknown. There's always new things on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many aspects of that, and you know, another time I think we can even get deeper into that, and really kind of one of the things I've learned is that, you know, this is such a hot market and robust area, and you know, you never can judge a book by its cover, so to speak, or you know, and you want to treat everybody the same, and with first class care, and you know, and that's kind of what, you know, one of my tenets is I'm like, listen, you're not going to meet somebody that's going to work harder for you, because I'm going to bust my tail, because I treat every transaction, you know, if I'm representing a seller, I'm like, hey, this is my house that I'm selling. Or if I'm buying a house or representing a buyer, I'm buying this house for me, and I'm going to do the same thing that I would do for me. That's what I want to do for
that goes a long way.
Absolutely.
It sounds simple, but I really don't believe a lot of people think like that.
You're right.
I really don't.
You're right.
I think they just want to close the deal and get their commission.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's unfortunate. And I think that, again, what separates TRE Homes and SeanHardenRealtor, but we can definitely have a class on that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
We talked a little bit about you being a brand new dad, you guys just having a baby, and talk a little bit about that and how that's affected your business and your lifestyle.
So 30 days in.
Okay, all right, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Lots to learn still. Running on fumes, no sleep is real.
Yeah.
No sleep. I think that me and my wife are very fortunate and blessed because both of our parents live here, and so does her sister and my brother. So while obviously it's one of the most amazing things ever to have, you know, having a boy or a baby, and then, you know, I'm excited it's a boy, but we haven't had a major setback as far as our life because our family is
chipping in.
It's here. My mom's taking them on Tuesdays. Her mom's taking them on Thursdays.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
got that support.
Yeah, just so much support. But I do think that in a lot of ways, you know, I like to think that I worked really hard before the baby, but I think I work even harder now.
Well, and too, Matt, one of the things, you know, I have 2 grown sons, and one of the things that you'll learn now too, as you have this child and more potentially, is that you're going to relate to families and couples with families in a new way.
Right.
And so, not that you weren't sympathetic before to somebody with a new baby, but now you're going to be able to look at their situation and see it from their perspective.
Yeah, you kind of understand.
Yeah.
So I heard this other day. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but someone was saying that you try to guide them and teach them all the lessons you can. At the end of the day, they're their own person, and you're along for the ride.
Absolutely. Well, and too, you know, I think all of us and today, and kids especially, are living in a different time with social media and all that they face. Excuse me. And you know, it's a new world in that sense. And so my wife and I always said, hey, we raised our boys with the morals and values that we wanted to instill upon them. But ultimately, they become their own men, in my case, my sons, and they're going to make their own decisions.
Right.
And you just hoped that you did the best in instilling what you did in them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have to live and learn from the decisions they make.
Right.
But at the same time, you just got to give them that foundation,
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like you've got a great infrastructure and support and family, and that's going to be the key.
Yeah, that's a huge, someone told me the other day, forget the money for a babysitter. Finding someone that you trust is hard. And I'm
Absolutely.
I'm thinking to myself, I really don't know if I'm ever going to have to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good position to be in.
Right? That's a blessing.
Absolutely. Well, as we kind of talk about that, and we've mentioned that this being a very hot market, where do you see kind of the real estate, the property management business in 2019 in this area?
So hard to say on the short term what's going to happen. I don't. Everything that I do within real estate, I'm literally thinking 20 years down the road.
Okay.
So to talk about the market, one thing I've heard someone say is that if anyone tells you that they know what's going to happen, they're just guessing.
Yeah.
So I've taken that to advice and said, I don't know.
Right.
But what I do see is that there's a lot of diversity here as far as jobs, and that there's new jobs coming here all the time. That's the main factor in helping the market is the jobs, because that brings in people, employment, tax revenue, and I don't think that that's stopping.
Right.
I think for our property management company, it's very interesting because the market right now is so hot that you probably know this. It's almost impossible to go and let's say I'm a buyer, you're my realtor, and put 20% down payment and find a rental property that will cash flow. That's almost impossible.
Right.
So we can't grow our management company like that. Maybe a little, you find deals here and there.
Right.
So part of my mindset has been thinking about San Antonio.
Okay.
Because the cash flow can be a lot better there.
I see.
But that's a whole different animal. So I'm very early thinking about that.
Yeah. And I went to a deal last year. It was, I think, a professor of economics from Texas A&M came in. You might have gone to this. And
no, but he was probably my professor.
Okay, yeah.
You remember who it was? Gaines?
Yes,
Dr. Gaines?
yeah. And one of the things he mentioned is, Texas has been a little bit unique to the rest of the country. We've been a little bit immune to maybe the slowdown in other parts of the country in the real estate market. But he was talking. You mentioned San Antonio. Anyway, what he's saying is that the next big growth corridor really is from San Marcos to San Antonio.
I believe it.
And I can't remember how many millions of people he said were going to be moving into that area in the next 20 years, but it's phenomenal. Growth, and so that's kind of the next hot pocket. So it's interesting that you're kind of looking at
Well, because I look at things, so I probably spend half of my time growing the properties that we manage, and the other half looking at deals.
Okay.
And so that's where my mind is where is the next opportunity.
Right.
I don't want to go and be outside of what I consider Austin.
Right.
I don't want to go to Killeen.
Sure.
And I've got friends that are investing in Virginia and North Carolina. They're like, the returns are better here, and I believe them.
Yeah.
But long term, I believe in this market. And when I'm thinking about New Braunfels and San Marcos, I still am thinking about Austin, Central Texas.
Sure.
So that's where my mind is as far as helping investors grow their portfolios. Is like, let's start looking a little bit south or maybe north of Georgetown a little bit.
I see. Yeah, and it's good to be proactive and looking at that, and we can, again, that's a whole other topic we can talk about.
We can go all day on real estate.
Yeah, for sure. Well, none of us have a crystal ball, obviously, to project or predict what's going to happen, but we know that this is a growing market, and I just encourage people, if you're moving to this area or you're already here and you're looking to make a change, man, contact me as your realtor or you. And
I'll be the property manager.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I like to think about when I say 20 years, right? If you're buying a house, I don't think you should be worried about the 2-3 year time period because it could go down in value.
Sure.
But you also don't know. So there's no point, in my opinion, to sit on the sidelines and wait for that time of decline to then buy. Just you gotta buy and be fundamentally smart. Like know you're buying a good property. Know that you know what's going on in the area and have a strategy with it. And if you're thinking long term, I really believe that it's hard to go wrong.
Yes, and you know I'm gonna kind of, because I know I've allotted kind of 15 minutes to do this, and we've gone over that. But there's so much meat here and what we can get into. But as we kind of wrap this up, and you and I'll get together again and kind of tackle any of these subjects. But if somebody needs a property manager, or is looking for an investment property, or if you're out there and you're looking for a lease, how do they get in touch with you, Matt, and TRE Homes?
Yeah, so our website, trehomes.com.
Yeah.
My email, Matt Teifke @gmail.
Okay.
We're on all the social media platforms.
Yeah.
We've got a podcast called Young, Wild, Financially Free.
Yeah, and I've been watching that, and man, I'm impressed with what you guys are doing there, and it's fun to see everything you're doing, and you know, I kind of look at this business of man, we can help each other. You know, it's not like me against you. It's like, how do we grow this together? And man, there's a lot of synergy. And so I've enjoyed seeing what you guys are doing, and congratulations on all that success. And likewise, if you are looking for a real estate agent, you want to buy or sell your home, you can look at SeanHarden.com, and you can also find me on Facebook at SeanHardenRealtor, and as well as my YouTube channel. But anyway, I appreciate you guys joining us, and Matt, thanks for coming in this morning.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely.